know today. And I actually took a shower for you, Johnny.
Oh,
Yeah, whether I need it or not. Yep.
yeah,
But I thought,
I showered today as well, but I've been through the adventure that we all know about, and so I'm excited to meet Cheryl. You're a master practitioner. I've got, one of the things that happens to me is because I'm not a doctor, Cheryl. Uh,
Oh,
Even though you said that's a common thing, I just always like to. I don't want anybody to think I'm practicing medicine without a license. It's protected me because I'm a researcher, a historian. I probably know more about B17 and apricot seeds and the whole history of this than anybody around today. Even G. Edward Griffin. I'm giving him information. Now there's other people that know about it. I'm not trying, but I'm one of the leading people to talk about it out there because they've demonized, my father, Judy, Dr. Ed Group, anybody that's ever talked about B17 has been demonized, but now the world is awake to learning about it. So it's one of those subjects that sometimes people are fearful of talking about. But I've found ways to protect docs. There's a doctor here in Tempe, Arizona, that's been an MD that's been using B17 therapy for 25 years. He's currently got 7 patients in his office right now that are all responding tremendously to it. Dr. John Murphy and Judy, you've met him. He's an amazing man.
yep.
He's not obviously in this to do anything except help humanity, and he's helping to train people. So I'm right in the middle of it, and I have my own regenerative story that Judy and Dr. Wolfe helped me through just recently, which is kind of jaw dropping to anybody I tell the story to because it almost sounds unbelievable. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of time to talk about that story and talk about anything else we want to talk about.
well, that's so totally exciting for me. And I tell people I'm not a doctor yet either. I am working on my PhD, but like you, I'm a master practitioner. And that means I have studied for a couple of years now with Dr. Darrell Wolfe. And I love this work, and I have B17 in my clinic. And when people come to me with any kind of 4-stage inflammation, we talk about all the different modalities available to them. And, just helping people understand that you can reverse what we are considered the irreversible, that God did not make a mistake when he made this gorgeous communication device that we get to walk through and use our voices and our words. And I'm just so happy that both of you are part of this awakening, that's happening right now. People really are waking up and they're finding this platform where we're bringing everybody together. And so, Dr. Judy, you tell me which slides you want and we'll get going.
Well, actually, I probably don't want any slides at all yet. Um,
Okay.
we
Well,
already did all that. John's lived through all that. I think I'd love to talk about the formulations and what we're doing with the oral IV line. And we've got that formulation at Global Healing as well with B17. And I that's where I like to not even call it B17. I like to discuss it as amygdalin because in that oral IV line, correct, that John's showing right now. What we've done is, the medical deities, those people, not the doctors, the teachers, but that, as we heard from the beautiful Dr. Dana with Gold Care and Simone Gold, the last speaker in the talk there was brilliant because she said what we need, and it was Sunday, and we were preaching it for sure. Um, what we need is a lot more Saul to Paul conversions. We have the people that are awake from the standpoint of they now know from that first slide there, or the second slide, the first slide you started to show, where we uncovered. You could show the one slide after this, and we'll talk
okay.
about just this. That's what this whole, what was it, John? Wow, for me it was 45 years on June 10th. I've been in, that was my first day at the National Cancer Institute where we walked, through all of this stuff. And
What year was that?
1980.
1980. Okay, I
You,
was I was
you,
a I was a sophomore in high school then.
Ah,
Yeah. But that
ah,
was we started obviously, our family started in the amygdalin world back in the early 1970s, even though, I think of my dad as one of the pioneers and one of the forerunners. He was basically just his claim to fame was he was the first MD that had the wherewithal, or not the wherewithal, but the guts to go up against the establishment using amygdalin in his medical practice. And Judy, you and I have talked about amygdalin, B17, Laetrile. I've lived it so long, they all kind of meld in. But amygdalin truly is the natural version, what's found in nature. So it's what you can find in 1,200 different foods. And it basically is it's what is in all of our stuff. Even when we do this product with Global Healing, who everybody on here knows, Ed Group and Dr. John Group, and how amazing they are. They're coming. This is microsomal vitamin C, and basically, I have the website up to share with the audience if you let me share what microsomal
yes.
technology is, and it is
Yeah, that's
non.
what we where we want to go.
Yeah, so that I think we can talk about microsomal technology, and Judy, you're much more brilliant about this kind of stuff than I am. As I said, I'm just God put me in this place for such a time as this, for all the things that have gone in my life before, to grow up with a doctor, with a father who was a doctor who was attacked by every three-letter agency while he was curing over 6,000 patients. It's so hard to believe that he was only allowed to do that for about 6 years, because from after about 6 years in 1978, they stripped him of his medical license. He had to go get a license in Nevada, a naturopathic license, and he did move his practice to Nevada. He was commuting from Northern California. We lived above Napa Valley. Cheryl, you're from, you know where that was. All our phone numbers are still 707 area code. So when you mentioned the 707 area code, I know that's where we grew up, in the San Francisco Bay Area. My dad's practice for years was in Albany, and then he had to, because they stripped him of his medical license, he had to go to Reno, and so he was commuting from above Napa Valley in a place called Lake County, and still have home. We still have a home there. Still have family that's up there, but he had to just go with the times, like all the attacks that Judy suffered and Dr. Wolfe has suffered in the past. Not so much now, but in the past, when you're doing God's work and doing the right things, the three-letter agencies were coming against us. Now we've at least got a temporary reprieve of that when we have the leadership is so much better, and so many amazing things are happening. But Ed Group has been able to develop this microsomal technology that's trademarked, that he's going to be a much better person, or Judy's going to be a much better person to talk about it. But I do have the website so people can learn about it, so that instead of taking vitamins through our mouth and through our intestinal tract, which is a good thing, but our intestinal tract will break that down and we won't get the as much use of it. But through the microsomal technology, we can actually put it under our tongue via tincture, like with the vitamin C, and get up to 70% of that vitamin C to reach its final destination. So if I can share this real quick, am I able to share?
Well, Rafa, I can stop sharing so he can share. I don't think we can both share at the same time.
Yeah, we don't need to share me. We can share him.
Yeah,
So I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute. Rafa, can you hear me?
all right. Well, if I can't, you can pull it
Yeah,
up,
we will.
Cheryl. You can pull
I'm
it
going
up
to
real
stop
easy.
sharing for just a second, and now it's your turn to share.
Okay. So,
Good. And what's really cool about this, John, while you're doing that is, so I was June 10th, 1980 at Fort Detrick. I was a fermentation chemist. So in fact, we made everything this way. Oh, that's so beautiful. And so I was actually making the amygdalin and using various, obviously it was a lot earlier, and we didn't have some of the beautiful technologies. So the minute I saw that in Phoenix, years ago, it was like, that's it. That was the last thing I need because, in fact, the liposomal technology of nutraceuticals is how we are getting spike proteins packaged and expressed from your cells as they're dying on the way out of your cells. A liposome is a lipid nano microparticle. And so you're actually capturing the bad spikes because, and they knew that as they've weaponized, and that's what Ed Group was talking about. On the show on Sunday. So this really changed my world because I knew what we did in 1980, when I was right there at the National Cancer Institute and I saw your father vilified and with Frank Rossetti, Candace Pert, and Bruce Lipton, this is what they and Luc Montagnier, that's what they recognized. And I'm just this 25-year-old kid who just went and I'm Cherokee, so I know plants. And I grew up in Washington, D.C. after being born in Flint, Michigan, and being there my first 10 years. Grew up in Washington, D.C. And so I saw this really up close and personal in a way that nobody need see it. But as John said, we all are thriving in Babylon. And this is the beautiful, beautiful part when you're looking at that phospholipid bilayer there, that or, microsomal technology. And so, John, we can walk through because you're
Yeah, well,
delivering.
Ed, really hammers to me, in a kind way that the liposomal is great, but microsomal is the next level of that. And so it actually, my assistant, who's got her degree in health and nutrition, said that she understands it's up to 99% of it's 99% bioavailable, how much yours, so that you can get it all the way down to your fingertips. And what this means is that instead of people panicking and having to find somebody that's going to inject vitamin C in their wrists at a high expense, people can not self-medicate with the direction of a great health practitioner like our friend Cheryl right here. With the direction, you can take it orally and take this microsomal technology for vitamin C, vitamin amygdalin, and so many more things that Global Healing is going to be able to do. They're going to be a leader in this whole technology. So I'm just going to read right here from setting a new standard for
Yeah,
nutrient delivery. The liposomes produced
perfect.
by liposomal technology are used by some products claiming better delivery and absorption. However, the technology is known to have difficulty penetrating tissues, maintaining stability, and staying in a liquid state. In most cases, they're made using chemicals, solvents, and/or non-organic ingredients. We all know the how much Global Healing really is ethical about everything they do, how they've sourced the most organic materials. They test before, during, and after all sorts of productions. So when they say these things, you can really trust them. And also for people listening, just like with Dr. Wolfe, when you know the Doc of Detox products are curated by Dr. Wolfe, you can trust them because he's not been sold out or will ever sell out to some multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical company that just will cut the actual value of the product down by using cheap knockoffs, or there's so many cases of this. So part of the great melding of this in all of us together is what a great group of brothers, and the leadership of Global Healing, that John and Ed are just great people, and all the staff they have are great people. So when we're partnering with these guys, it's such an amazing thing. So they're not using non-organic ingredients. They're not using solvents. Both Judy and I have multiple times visited their manufacturing right here in Arizona, and every time I go, I learn something new, and it's just amazing. For anybody that can ever get the chance to do that, it's an amazing thing to do. So they took all the good about liposomal technology and brought it to the next level. Their microsomal technology uses glycerosomes. These are unique vesicles made from organic, raw, cold-pressed, unfiltered phospholipid blends, triple distilled biophotonic structure water, and organic vegetable glycerin. Glycerin. You've seen their water filtration system at Global Healing, haven't you, Judy? It's
Yes, I
unbelievable. They
have.
have everything from everything except the Pope. I think is what I say when I go. It's filtered, so many times, and it's prayed over, and they have great sound coming in. And then they actually structure it after all that's done, and so there really is at the end product of this microsomal technology is you're getting just a perfect product.
And it's
Glycerisomes are especially effective in penetrating, absorbing through tissue and cells due to their nanometer size compared to standard liposomes. Our microsomal trademark technology can hold both water soluble and fat soluble ingredients. That's a big deal as well. People don't realize that. But things like
it's
CBDA
huge.
is oil based and amygdalin is water based. There's never been any technology that can combine those two things in a single product. But now with microsomal, they can do that with both. If you try to mix the oil-based vitamin with the water-based nutrient, or vice versa, it just separates. But with microsomal technology, it stays. They say to shake it still, but if I pour this out, which I can do, here's microsomal vitamin C. Let me shake it a little bit just to show everybody. Microsomal vitamin C, hot off the presses. John Group delivered this to me, by the way. I'm sure you have some too, Judy. But here I am in my water, just pouring it
It,
in, and you can see the.
I encouraged him to bring it to you because
Oh,
you weren't being a good boy and
oh,
you were kind of sick.
thank you. Well,
So
there
you
it
make
is. You
sure
can see it's suspended like it would
yep.
be you can see it's not, it hasn't, separated at all. So it's an incredible technology. So it holds both water soluble and fat soluble ingredients. And depending on those ingredients and preparation methods, they can come in single layer or multi-layer forms. Microsomal glycerisomes are gaining attention for their simplicity, safety, and improved performance over standard liposomal delivery systems. So that's how we're partnering up with a Doc of Detox, with Judy, with Global Healing, with all these great practitioners bringing you a product, and Cheryl, obviously, to bring liposome or microsomal nutrition products to people that they can get maximum use of. And actually, it saves them money, and they're not, supporting these multi-billion-dollar corporations that are just producing, vitamins that are just garbage.
I
And
love
why
that you
the
shared that, John, because here at Dr. Detox, Dr. Wolfe is always looking for people just like you who are creating something that's actually nutrition to the body.
Mhm.
Just like all of his products have no chemicals or fillers or anything. It is and I love this because I now call them nutrition nutraceuticals because of Dr. Judy.
Yeah, they're just nutrients, and what's really key about that, and so I when I saw that lab and just all this week, I've been like 45 years it took to, and we knew it. We knew it in 1980 with Paximune, and what we showed there with Dr. on Sunday the 8th when we did the Healers of the Faith. The whole idea is we knew this, and those people stayed with it. They never left. And if you oral IV line, meaning you get better than intravenous, and now you never have to deal with the FDA again or anybody else. You don't have to license anything, a certification in training. As long as you don't stick a needle in it, you don't need them. As long as it satisfies, and this is what we've done with our other hero of the faith there, Jerry Nordskog, and the whole team at at Genius Omnitura, as we made the oncogenic. So we took what we had put through in the plant formulation. We put different terpenes, exactly how you said it. The oil based don't mix like they do in nature, because of course it's the lubrication in the STP oil treatment. You're thinking of GTP and all your adenosine and energy. You need the traffic to flow, and you need to keep everything well lubricated, and everything works. So these are going to be we're going to have the first botanical drug already FDA approved, already through a phase 1/2 safety study in Canada for years, and now we've made it better. We've taken the formulation formulation and made it this. We used to get a 2% yield. See, yield is everything. We used to get a 2% yield because we didn't have this technology in 1980. And you had to acetone extract or use another solvent that's not good for you and is synthetic and is chemical toxins. Things like DMSO, they're not, it's wood pulp, folks, and it can be very deadly if a drop of that benzene or anything else stays in that. So the criminals in the NIH and the agency heads that created this chronic disease explosion, pandemic, epidemic, just didn't count on godly people like John and some of us sticking with it for 45 years and learning from each and everything. And that's why your story, John, was so fabulous. You're in there and they're doing everything they can to cut, burn, poison. And you're like, no, I'm John Richardson. Junior, that ain't happening in my wish. That's what I was praying for, John. Show them the miracle,
Yeah,
So,
it was, see, I've been doing this, since I was probably 5 years old. Now, I can't say I've been speaking on podcasts and speaking for people, but since I was a young man, my dad was fighting this battle. And so a lot of people would say, well, have you ever had a scare? Have you ever had a medical scare? And I never had. I'd always been pretty healthy. The worst thing that ever happened to me is I crashed on my bicycle and separated my shoulder. So I had to, not really excited about it, but I had to have surgery so that I could lift my arm back up. So I have full range of motion. And so I used modern medicine to fix an accident. And I thought that was the last time I'll ever be in the hospital, Judy. I'm not going back to the hospital. I have a plethora of good friends that are in the health and nutrition world, and I take advice and I follow that, and I'm going to stay out of it. Well, God had a different plan. And, because I was having stomach issues and I wasn't dealing with it, Dr. Darrell knew that I was having those stomach issues and he was suggesting some things, but I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should. And so on Easter Sunday, after going to church, I went to brunch with my son, and we had, I just had eggs Benedict and some pastrami, and that pastrami, whatever was in that, caused me to back up. And so I had pain and something going on with my gut that was really affecting me. And by 1 o'clock in the morning, I was throwing up, and I was aching and pain. And I didn't want to call Dr. Darrell. I didn't want to call Dr. Judy. I didn't want to call anybody. So I just thought, I'll just make it through this. Well, finally, my 17-year-old son, who was at home, and my wife was in Florida, as things would have it. And so my son said, Dad, I'm taking you to the urgent care. And he rushed me to urgent care, and I threw up on the way there. I threw up once I checked into the urgent care, and I was kind of delirious. I'd been just throwing up and uncontrollably, and I didn't know what was going on. And so that next morning, they stuck a tube through me called a nasogastric tube, and it went down through my nose and into my stomach, and they were pumping out what was backing up. So I obviously had something going on. So they also took me down to a CAT scan. They didn't really tell me, hey, do you want to do this? They did ask me if I wanted to take heavy narcotics, morphine. And I said no. I refused morphine because I know, first of all, that kills all the gut issues, but it also makes you a little bit loopy so that they can talk you into anything. I mean, if you're on morphine and they're, you can't think straight, they can talk you into cutting and tearing and doing anything. So they took me down to the CAT scan. They were pumping my stomach out from this fluid, which Dr. Wolfe, when I talked to him finally, he said that was good. That was a good thing. It was either that or therapeutic vomiting. And I'm sure both of you have heard about Dr. Wolfe talking about therapeutic vomiting, which I did through this process. I did do that. Wasn't fun, but it definitely made me feel better. So once I woke up, I had a surgeon sitting in front of me. And this guy was, he was a good looking kid. He was probably in his he was probably early 40s. And he was telling me that he has me scheduled to remove half of my large intestine within 24 hours of my son taking me to the emergency room. You have a blockage. It's called an apple core lesion, and we can't do a colostomy, or we can't do a oh, thank you. Can you help me out with a colonic? No, not a colonic. When they go up inside, what's it called when they go
Col
up inside where your rear
it's
end?
Colonoscopy.
Thank you.
colonoscopy. There you go.
Gosh.
Endoscopy. Yeah.
Okay.
Endoscopy, either way, up or
Yeah,
down.
a colonoscopy. We can't do a colonoscopy because we're going to perforate your intestines because they're so bloated. So we can't do that. It's too dangerous. But we were scheduling for surgery because they're going to remove. You have cancer, and of course, when I heard them say I have cancer, I knew I didn't because
Yeah.
yeah, I knew I didn't. And Dr. Wolfe said they should get malpractice just for saying that to you. But me refusing the surgery, I didn't refuse it. I didn't go, oh, I'm not going to do surgery. I said, well, tell me, what's that about? And so he drew a picture up on the whiteboard in the room where they put all the names, my name and all that. And I took a photo of it. He showed where he's going to cut the top part of my colon up here with a big, huge incision on my stomach, cut the top part of my colon, cut the bottom part of my colon, and connect those two things. Here I am, the guy that's on the Global Wellness Forum for Natural Healing for Cancer, and I'm literally on the council, and they're telling me within 24 hours of me having throwing up that they're going to remove half my colon, and now I have to have a colostomy bag. I'll have to take anti-rejection drugs for all the things that they're going to do inside me, and I'm going to have to take pain medicine, and I'm going to have to, come back every 3 months, get checked out, and I could, suffer perforated, a colon now, even worse. And then I said, well, after that, what happens? Well, then you have 5 days to heal from the surgery, and then we immediately start chemotherapy and radiation. Now,
Wow.
this literally happened 40 days and 40 nights ago. That's how recent this is. So Judy knows all about
Yeah.
it because I reached out to all my friends, and I was getting all sorts of advice, but all of it was, John, do not get a colonoscopy. Do not get that. They're gonna put radioactive material in you. They're gonna put cement. What? Just because you're curious to see what it is? It doesn't matter. You've got a restriction, and we were coming down to what it was, and it was probably that I tried to fix myself without getting help from a naturopath like I should have, because I'm so bulletproof because I eat 40 apricot seeds a day, right? So I'm bulletproof. So yeah, I don't have cancer, but I do have weaknesses in other areas where I'm not eating right. Where I told Dr. Wolfe, well, this is what I'm having. He said, oh, John, don't do that. Stop doing that. Do this. So he's the expert on the colon, but he got me. He was the voice of reason, because after I refused the surgery, which was scheduled for Wednesday, they said, well, we miraculously found an expert who can do a colonoscopy that won't perforate your colon. Miraculously. Before that, there was nobody that would do it. Isn't it amazing? And so they actually sent the doctor in to say, okay, we're going to get ready for you. Here, we're going to start putting you on the drugs to give you the colonoscopy, because I thought, okay, well, they've got somebody to do that. Well, I called Dr. Wolfe, and he said, in his loving, friendly way, said, John, I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. Said, we're going to have you up walking. You're going to be fine. Don't do that. That's just the path. Once you're under, they can cut anything they want. They can cut, anything that they see that they want to cut or take biopsies or whatever. You're signing when you go into the hospital. You're signing your rights away. So don't give in to that. You're cognizant. You're awake. You're feeling better, which I was, by the way, when they were pumping the fluids out, which Dr. Wolfe said was a good thing. I was feeling so much better, and so here's the rub to the story. I was scheduled for Wednesday for surgery. This was Tuesday when they were telling me all this stuff. By Thursday, they had the person doing the colonoscopy, but I had 15 bowel movements. Now, 15 bowel movements for someone who has cancer, supposedly, that's blocked with an apple core lesion, is not possible. But I would tell all the nurses and the doctors and everybody, I was telling, Dr. Wolfe kept saying, are you having bowel movements? Yes, I am. Actually, this is uncomfortable to talk about, but actually one was solid. And so there was obviously, my colon was working fine. I just had Dr. Wolfe said I either had a fold in my colon, or I had blockage from having too much bentonite clay and psyllium husk. I was trying to get rid of my stomach pain from bentonite clay. Now, I'm not putting bentonite clay down, and I'm not putting psyllium husk down, but you just have to do it properly. You need the guidance of someone like Cheryl, guiding you
Right.
how to do it so you don't just, create a blockage in your own stomach. And looking back, that's exactly what I did. And so I needed not to be have my colon cut out or a colonoscopy. I needed to do gentle therapies, massaging my colon and taking all the C60 and the enzymes that Dr. Wolfe has. I've got my house is the Doc of Detox house now, because not only along with amygdalin and the enzymes that I have, I'm taking regularly the Doc of Detox products to this moment. This morning, before I came here, I took my things. I should have brought them all here to show, but everybody here knows what those things are. But I basically got out of the hospital on Saturday morning. They weren't going to let me go, by the way. They said, John, you will be dead in 10 days. You will be dead in 10 days. And here's the final. Yeah, there it is. Yep. That's what I'm doing. Exactly that. Here's what the head of the hospital, who was a nice man, his name's on the photograph that I took. He kind of had a heart-to-heart talk with me, telling me, I don't know why you're deciding to go home and die, John, because if there was really somebody that could cure you of what you have besides surgery, John, they'd be a trillionaire. And I said, well, I know lots of people that can do this. I'll be back and I'll shake your hand. And I can tell you, most of these doctors aren't trillionaires because they are being attacked constantly. And the medical industrial complex is saying what they do is wrong. But I'll be back. I'll shake your hand. I'll give you a gift card to some place, because you actually helped me see what's going on in this whole situation, and I want to be able to show you as well. So I want to remain friendly with you, not fight you or argue with you, but I want to leave, and I'm going to come back when I'm healthy, and I'm going to show you. So he's on my list. He's on my to-do list to go back and visit all these 15 white-coated doctors telling me that the only chance I had to survive was to cut out 2.5 feet of my large intestine. And I'm here today to say my stomach doesn't hurt at all. I'm gaining weight. I feel fantastic. My energy's back. And I'm doing all of the Doc of Detox for the minimum, all the Doc of Detox stuff for the minimum of 6 months, and then continuing to follow to never let my colon get to a point where it's unhealthy again, just because I'm taking apricot seeds, which I'm going to do right now, and I'm going to be quiet and just eat my 10 apricot seeds.
Well, as we all say here at the Doc of Detox, your intestinal tract is the highway of life. And because you don't know till you know, and we've all been taught the most ridiculous stuff about our intestinal health. I mean, seriously. I remember when I went to my first whole life coach and really got the download, and I went, all this time I thought I was doing such a great job. But food combining is so important. Even when you think you're eating so well, it's that food combining. And we were not taught to food combine properly. None of us. And so, you
And
can let
I
yourself
was.
off the hook, but good for you for taking massive personal action.
No,
Well,
I was, because that's what I did for a living. Is I combine nutrients in fermentation chemistry at the National Cancer Institute. So I'm telling you, they knew what God gave us, and we would never have this disease. So they weaponized everything from interferon. And the big key why they went after me so hard is and Dr. Aleem, everybody on that heroes turned to healers of the faith, is because the heroes and the faith is first, the faith is planting seeds. So they listened to me like John did, and people could hear me that I'm screaming in an abyss because nobody's there. And so because everybody's dead, or that was in this game from Jeff Bradstreet and the others who, and I'm just showing you. No, we did this before. We take advantage of synergies. That's who Genius Omnitura is. That's our 10 our patent from 2010, November 4th of 2010. And so that's where, and so we knew we couldn't extract, we needed CO2. C60 is like a shape in nature called a buckyball, and it's like whatever sided, and it just, your innate immune system sees shape. That's how we cured AIDS in the biological response modifiers program, start to finish from 83 to 87. And then, John, I think one of those people that were denied healing might have been a man named Ronald Reagan. So they put him up to removing all liability with his cancer in 1984, and you're going to do it our way, and remove all liability. That's it. And our books in our Get Healthy is so we know. Yes. So
Well, that people don't realize that Ronald Reagan, as you told, I just want to tell the audience listening,
Yep.
this is something that many people haven't heard.
Yep.
He had stage 4 colon cancer, and Hans Nieper cured his cancer with amygdalin and enzymes and natural things, just like Dr. Wolfe has brought up to people, like the C60 right here. This is not a product pitch. I actually take the C60. I'm taking it every day. I've taken it through this whole process, which is hemp oil, which was not available to my dad or Dr. Nieper. So it's actually even more
Or
miraculous. We
me.
can live, ladies, we can live to be 120 years old, no question about it. We have the technology. We know the nutrients that we need to do. And that's the amazing thing about being where we're at. But the epiphany that I had in this whole adventure I had that I'd never experienced before, I never really understood it. The power of these white coats when you go into the hospital and they're telling you we're going to save your life with a $200,000 surgery. We have 6 of them scheduled on Wednesday. That's 1.2 million for you math majors. They've got 15 people that are employed just to convince you to cut out half your colon, and they had 6 of them, 6 colon resection surgeries, whether it was anal tumors or whatever, scheduled for Wednesday, and you're able to do it. Doc of Detox got me cured. I don't want to use the word cured because you can't go back to the same lifestyle. He got me healed with about $1,000 or $2,000 worth of products from the whole extensive thing. Now it sounds expensive, but my life is extended another 60 years because I learned the right things about my colon. I've never been brilliant about my colon, I will say. I've never, understood it. I'm a historian and a documentary, and I dig deep for stories about B-17, like the Ronald Reagan story, or all the multitude of stories. But that's just a piece of the story, because there's no magic bullet. There's no magic one item that's going to help you with everything. There's different things our body needs. And because our food is so terrible, even food at our local grocery store, we think we can get the vegetables in the vegetable area. They're really lacking any kind of nutrients. They say it's about 1/30th of what you have in the vegetables if you grow them in your own yard. And I've seen the studies. So we have to supplement, and we have to understand our bodies. We have to, with great people like Cheryl and Dr. Judy and Dr. Wolfe and other great people that know the human body. We have to learn about our bodies, because if what happens to you is what happened to me, you won't stand a chance. Those of you watching this, you will not stand a chance, because your family, just like mine did, will say, well, maybe you should get the surgery. These doctors are saying you're going to be dead. Maybe you should do the colonoscopy, because it's a $3.2 billion industry. I didn't realize that before I went in. The problems that come from a colonoscopy are far worse than what they think they're discovering. There's no healing in a colonoscopy. All it is discovering something they can cut out or grab or do whatever. So if you don't learn this stuff, unfortunately, I didn't learn that about the colonoscopies or all these things that the doctors told me until I was in the emergency room. I did know that I was smart enough to talk to Dr. Judy or Henry Ely, who did a house call at my house, Dr. Henry Ely, or
We
Ed
called
Blue.
everybody.
Yeah,
We
I
were in
know,
my
I know.
John,
It
so
was
we
the
just
mission.
called everybody.
It was the team. But I want a world where all of us have that advantage, not just John Richardson, not just Judy Mikovits. I want a world where all of us have that advantage. We have a friend like Cheryl that we can call, and first line of defense when we're feeling an upset stomach, to find out what's going on. Hey, can I come check you out? Here, you need to do this, you need to do that. Instead of going to the emergency room and having them want to cut my colon out. And had I not known everything I've known in my life, I would have been another person with a colostomy bag. And oh, by the way, he told me, John, you could have another good 10 years if we do this. I'm like, you're going to shorten my life by 50 years?
And
You're going
that's
to
a
do a surgery?
deal, right?
Yeah. I don't want something that's going to let me last another 10 years with a colostomy bag and coming back to the hospital. And the other thing that I want the audience to hear is that once they got you in the MIC, I can't, once they got me in the medical industrial complex, I have to go back and get their drugs and I have to
That's
go back
right.
and get their stuff, or I have to go back and get their form of, because there's no nutrients that I know of that's going to grow 2.5 feet of a colon back. Maybe God can do it, but there's no nutrient once they remove 2.5 feet of my colon that's gonna grow it back. So once you get these surgeries, once you succumb to that, I'm not saying surgeries are never needed, because I'm an example of somebody that needed a surgery on my shoulder. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to lift my arm up. But that is a case of an accident or an emergency. That's the only time that's necessary. Even I got them to admit that, hey, maybe surgery is right for me, but can I, what about if I do it in 3 weeks from now after I've tried all these other natural healing processes? What about that? No, you're going to, because that lesion is going to keep closing your colon. You're not going to be able to get any nutrients. By the way, I had lost about 40 pounds through this whole process. So you're not going to get any more nutrients, and you will be dead in 10 days. Make America healthy again. Yes.
That,
That's
that
what that's what
and
we're doing. And this story is going to be part of the movie. We're making a documentary. Going to be showing it to RFK Jr. I'd like you to be involved in it, Judy. Frank Torchia, that made the movie The Man You Don't Know, is a local a friend from here in Scottsdale. He was just with Tucker Carlson, their organization. He's making a documentary about B17, amygdalin, my dad's story, and all of this history. Will include all of us healers, and then we're going to share it with at Mar-a-Lago with Trump and RFK Jr. So this part of my story is kind of another cap on what I went through, what people are going through right now. There's people dying right now. I have one more little story to tell, many more stories, but at the same time the same night that I went to the emergency room, a good friend of mine's, very close friend, also went to the emergency room with the same symptoms that I had. He had everything. And my friend was trying to get a hold of me. He was getting a hold of people. He was trying to get him amygdalin. He was trying to get him C60. He was trying to get him all these things. He was learning so much. His friend Arthur said they offered him morphine. He said, I'm not going to take it. And evidently, they found out later that he had taken it. But they talked him into getting the emergency surgery. And Arthur, who went into the same time as I did, the same day, Judy, the same day, Cheryl, he passed away a week later on Monday morning at 6 a.m. The same story that I had. So that's how, since I've been out, I've been inundated with people with quote unquote colon cancer. And one person I talked to yesterday, they were diagnosed with colon cancer, and then a nutritionist said they don't have cancer at all. They just have some kind of blockage that can be fixed. So this medical industrial complex is convincing people to get a $200,000 life-changing surgery over a couple $100 worth some nutrients and some good advice from a health practitioner. Maybe a couple $1,000s in expenses as compared to shortening your life by 40 years. It's absolutely insane, but it happened to me, or otherwise I wouldn't even believe it myself.
Well, John, it actually happens to so many more people. One of them included was my mother. So she went in and she also had a colonectomy where they took almost everything right to the point of needing a colostomy bag. However, I want people to know that even if you were sucked into that surgery, this becomes even more imperative that you understand how to eat and understand that the digestion and getting the nutrients you now need has got to happen here. You have to learn how to drink your solids and you have to learn how to chew your liquids. That's going to become so important for, you to get the nutrients that you need and to make sure that you're only taking nutraceuticals that are adding to that, like the cardio miracle, like our wonderful, the glutathione that everybody needs for your immune system. I mean, there's so much that is out there, and it is
The
that
pro-immune.
yes, it is that educating that makes all the difference in the world. And you know what? Like our black gold, like our black diamond, find the things that can go in, absorb 400 times their weight, get the crap out of your body, support yourself. And my mother had this surgery 30 years ago. They told her she had a good 5 years after the surgery. I at least convinced her not to do the chemo or radiation, right? Not to add insult to injury at this point. And so, did she have to change how she ate? Of course she did. Her food combining was horrific. So, once she learned that she could have the things that she liked, but she did had to do it right the right way, you should see her. She's now, going to be 87 this year, and she's out walking, doing everything, living a great life. I'm going to live to be 120, and I'm
Awesome.
still going to be able to do the splits. I'm going to keep my mobility, and my body's my body's going to be this amazing healing machine, right?
I
But
love it.
before I take back over the screen, I know that Dr. Judy, what would you like to?
Well, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to give a plug, and seems like a shameless plug, but these are products I'm actually taking right today that are making a miracle difference. So black gold, I can say to people, yeah, it's not just a theory. I'm using it, and it's making me more regular and more, I feel more energized and everything than I felt in 10 years. So even though I know I'm never going to get cancer because I take enough amygdalin. I don't know that I'm not going to have gut problems. So I need to work on that now. And I'm also open to discovering other things. I have Cardio Miracle at my house. I'm taking the black diamond from Dr. Detox. I have 6 or 7 products that my friend Daryl Wolfe got on the phone and said, John, you need to get these. He shipped them out to me free, actually, the first time because he wanted me to get in my system. But then I got on the website, my wife got it, and we are actually actively doing it. So it's not just a good friend. He's a miracle worker. He's got some amazing things. And he's also so honest and straightforward that he's built this whole network that he calls our network, which it is. Here we are doing this on the BHN Doc of Detox app. He's not here telling us what to say, what not to say. We're talking about products that are from a different company that maybe Doc of Detox doesn't have. We're talking about he doesn't care. There's more than enough healing to go around. We're about to replace a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and people need us. I've got squads of people that are looking for help, like from Cheryl. That's why I'm excited to write Cheryl's information down because people need healers right now. The public is out there being lied to, and they need healers. So the more of us, the merrier. So anybody that's out there, join in. So
Well, thank you,
Yeah,
John, because I absolutely agree. When I started this work 2 years ago, and I've been in this, what I call healing or always being called to help, looking for different modalities where people could actually be self-healing. And so when I found the Doc of Detox, it was really like a miracle. The light came on, and, every client I've ever put on these products sees the results. They see and feel the difference. And I think colon, what we call 4-stage inflammation, colon cancer, which is really inflammation, right, is rampant. There's like 1 out of every 3
you have my
individuals
test.
anymore. And when you see the American diet and what we are calling food, how can we not be in this position? So, teaching people to eat those high frequency foods, live food. So I am
I
so
actually
glad
have
you
a
came.
test. I've been test happy. I'm testing everything I've got. I'm coming out good. But I actually have a test that a naturopathic doctor gave me that tested my stool, and it showed I had 0 this, 0 that, and then my inflammation was a 10 out of 10. So doc said, John, you've got inflammation. So right when I was in the midst of this, I got a test done, and it showed inflammation. It wasn't cut this out. It was that you got inflammation. So bring down the inflammation, and a colonoscopy will only quadruple the inflammation. So what you're saying, I lived, and it's
correct.
true. It's inflammation that you got to get rid of, and your life will be so much better, and you won't have to have 2.5 feet of your colon cut out and spend the rest of your life with a colostomy bag and on drugs. So,
You
and you're
know,
right. Even if I had done the surgery, it's not my life was over. I still wouldn't have done it. But even if people that have had the surgery, it's even more important that you're eating properly, that you're drinking your food as much as you can, your nutrients and tinctures, and doing that kind of stuff is even more important. So get assistance, get help, and get guidance.
Thank you so much, John. So if I could
exactly.
get you to stop sharing so I can share, that would be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking to see how to stop sharing.
The
It
little
doesn't.
button at the bottom says stop sharing.
It just says share. So, can you help me do a stop sharing here?
There should be something.
I got my lovely assistant. helping me
Oh,
stop sharing. It just says share. It doesn't give me the option to stop sharing.
um, well, when you click on share, what happens?
It just says share again. So I think it's controlled by our good friends back at uh, yeah. So it's
Yeah, I see the same thing. But John, I should say, and Cheryl, while we're working that out to get you back, I'm going up I've actually made an appointment with Cheryl to get up there to her place on, I believe, July 19th or 20th. I'm going that way. Why don't you join me, John, and we'll just have a party because, I think what's important about what you both just said is that the cardio miracle is um, 58 fruits and vegetables in a formulation. And August 15th, 2022 showed you powdered fruits and vegetables powdered in there. We can't use the microsomal this way because there were so many things. The download to John Hewlett to God in 2007 took him to 2014 to make Cardio Miracle because nobody would make it for him because he's an insurance guy. So that's another healer of the faith. And we had Stan Graham there as well. But I tell
I
everybody,
love
look,
both
you're
those men. I love both those men.
yeah, and see,
John's a
this
hero.
is food. So, of these 60 fruits and vegetables, do not buy them. This is living food, that light spectral clustering study. I met John October 21st of 2021 at the Truth About Cancer in Nashville, where our friend Michael Carlfeld, he was on the way to Italy in the airport when you were in trouble and he stopped and he's like, Judy, I called back. We'll wait to hear from him. And neither of
I'm
us,
on with him today. I'm on with Michael today for his conference he's doing on a Zoom call today, just this afternoon. So I'll tell him you said hi.
fabulous. Thank him for that and have him show those slides he showed on Sunday. I want to get him back and hear the complete thing as well.
Well,
But
actually,
you
I'm on
see,
his. I think he's interviewing me, so he's probably going to be asking me to share slides. So,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So you don't want to eat these fruits and vegetables, folks. This is your 60-day supply. ProImmune, 93-year-old Albert Crum, Ted Fogarty. This is how your liver works because we're all eating those plastics. Oh, and Dr. Darrell said, Doc of Detox said on the Healers of the Faith, he showed you 1% of what is in the grocery store is food. It's all irradiated, it's all killed. If it's got a sell by date on it, it's dead. So you have to sell it by then because it's going to grow every kind of fungus, mold, poison that's in the store being shot on your foods. I'm not telling you not to go there because I'm trying to choke out their economy. They're choking out their own economy, but they're choking you. And yeah, John, they and Cheryl, they killed my mom too. And like you said in the very beginning, she ended up with the colostomy bag. Nobody would call me. The docs would not call me. And by the time you said cancer to my mother, by the time you said that, she was already dead. I have not seen one diagnosis that was cancer. There he is. I haven't seen one diagnosis that was cancer.
Oh, God.
Not one. Not one. Not one. In 4 years, stage four. No, I want to see T2N1M3 and I want to see exactly. By the time they get you in there, they killed my mom the day they said cancer. She lived 6 months later, and put her, she could have reversed that colostomy bag. She walked in to that surgeon and I said, just tell her to reverse it. She's fine now. Like you just said, we put her back together with these nutrients that we already knew about. I took all my lotions and potions and what was that? Endocannabinoid. That's why oncogenics. I took that. I put it in a cream. I got her out of pain immediately. And the nurses and doctors, the hospitalists, the guy that has to make sure, I
You
went
should be a
in.
trillionaire. You should be a trillionaire, Judy.
Well, I own the patent for the PCR of all things COVID, so I am a trillionaire. Do you think I'll ever get that money back from those criminals? I don't think so. But I don't care. I am a trillionaire because I got a lot of love, John. And so, two powdered foods is all things COVID. And they proved it with the spectral, the functional, the management. Your own body manages NO. It's not an NO booster. I'm going to take down that
Important.
FDA piece by piece with the help of my friend Bobby. And I don't call him Secretary Kennedy because he can't take him down as quickly as I want to, though he did a great job with ASIP last week. That was the fourth thing on my list. The first thing was a complete moratorium on every shot. No more IVs because they're not nutrition. They poison the IVs and they know it. They're destroying your kidney and you know it. That's why this oral IV line is so important because then you don't need them. And
That's absolutely true.
once you
We
stick
don't.
a needle in it, you drive the hematopoietic stem cell. It was TGF-beta. It's that 1992 highest award anybody could get at NIH, Frank Rossetti, 1992. We cured it all and we never gave up. Frank unfortunately doesn't talk to me anymore, but I pray one day he might.
Yeah, he will. But I'm glad you said what you said because we are transforming this multi-trillion dollar scam. There's so many scams in the medical industrial complex, and I'm just so happy to see people waking up to it. They're waking up on the show. They're waking up every single day, and people are. I'm talking to individuals. I'm not a practitioner. I'm not going to try to give somebody guidance like Dr. Wolfe does, or like Cheryl does, or even Dr. Judy does. I know you give that counsel. I'm just trying to get people to look into it, to open their eyes to the fact that we've been lied to about so many things. And so this experience I went through and the experience that other people are going through right now are waking people up in the droves. I'm literally, I was talking on a call with the Gold Care people, and we're talking about what are we going to do with these hospitals that are going out of business, these medical industrial complex death factories that are going to be going out of business. We're going to have to figure out what to do with those because we're going to change that by bringing people back to health without these multi-million dollar clinics and these $500,000 bills that people are going to have. We just got to fix the insurance program. We got to fix the whatever the vaccine thing is. Like you said, Bobby just fired all 17 of the people on the council, and they're bringing in good people. They're bringing in people closer to what we are, and we've got the whole. Again, I'm having a meeting today with the Global Wellness Forum. And now, is that something, Judy, that you're going to get involved with, or have you?
I I hope so. I'm probably the biggest single I see a pretty dog too. We got that too. I would love to. I would love to. I haven't been invited, but I'm that person that is, you know, again, I don't even know what to say.
Well,
I'm still.
that's an easy thing. I'm going to find out today because there's a lot of great people. I got lucky. Whatever. Ed Group, is founder, and we've been working so closely with this amygdalin, this microsomal amygdalin that he nominated me, and he was one of the founders. So it's going to be an easy process if you want to be involved.
Oh, I mean, this is my passion, my life.
Okay, well,
45 years it took me to get my life back. It
I
said,
think
you
I
got it
think it's
for me,
I
John.
think
You
it's
did
as
it.
simple as we're all so busy, Judy. I think it's just as simple as we're all so busy that sometimes you don't see the email or you don't get the phone call or whatever, and that's all I think is as simple as that. But the Global Wellness Forum,
Right.
anybody watching needs to look at it. It's called the globalwellnessforum.org, and it's all of our friends and all the people we know. Dr. You mentioned her, Sherry Tenpenny. She's going to be on the call today. She's on the Global Wellness Forum, and
I,
all these
I'm on
other.
my way to
I
I'm on my
know,
way to Sherry's
I know.
ECP center
So
right
I'm going to
here in
bring your name up
Ventura.
today. I'm going to bring your name up
Okay.
today and see what it takes. And that was probably like, of course, we've been trying to get a hold of Judy or whatever it is. So yeah, it
Well, you're
is it's a
you're
miracle. The things
exactly
that are
right,
happening
John.
now. I'm sorry,
You're,
but
you,
if I'm talking over you, but the things
oh
that
no,
are
it's fine.
happening now and the things that are happening even from the top down and the bottom up are miraculous. So we have to keep our wits about us and knowing that we're making a difference and that all of this is in God's plan.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I so appreciate you being here today, Dr. Judy. Would you like to add anything else before I have to close up the show?
I just
Yeah,
wanted to
just yeah,
show
I
everybody on
love
my
it.
colon test, everything was zeros except for inflammation. Just like, and this is not from Dr. This is an outside testing, Genova Diagnostics. I'm not even promoting. I just got this thing tested, and he said, John, you just have serious. There's no cancer. I've not had nothing that said I had cancer markers of anything. I just had inflammation, and they wanted to give me a $250,000 colon surgery and ruin my life over some inflammation.
But you know what? Fear is what they use, sweetheart. I have clients all the time where fear they've done amazing things to their bodies because they were in such fear, only to have all the tissue come out clean when they do the testing afterwards.
Yeah, that's what they were going to do. They said they'd send my 2.5 feet of colon to a lab and see if I had cancer. That was how they were going to prove that the surgery was useful. And
That's crazy.
and all my MD friends are saying, well, yeah, then they would have just told you, oh, thank God we got it. We got it early enough that you're going to be safe now.
See,
What?
but that's exactly what they do, right? And so if they can scare you enough, then they have control over you, right? Because that's how they do it. They lower the frequency of the human being. They put them into a place where they feel like they have to abdicate their power to that doctor or whoever. And you know what? We have been brainwashed into believing that doctors were here to take care of us. And that unfortunately isn't the truth anymore. They are no longer teaching health or giving health. And yes, you're right. In an emergency, if you need a surgeon, head-on collision or something, hopefully you don't create anything like that, then you want that doctor who knows how to do surgery and put you back together, right? So that you can take care of it. But you know what? Dr. Sage Wolfe is going around right now to the Power Pack clinics, including myself, which is what Dr. Judy's talking about. And he does the total body thermography, which literally tests for inflammation in your body. So that's why getting to see him is so important. But Dr. Judy, before I run through my slides, is there anything you want to add?
Just I thank you, John, because the courage, we're the Braveheart Nation, and the courage is to talk to your family in such a way that your family, we have the biggest single problems with our families, speaking the truth in love, and the truth is, hey, and Mickey Willis, I'm just going to say a little of the healer, the faith that taught me. He said, Judy, we were angry because angry is the other end of fear. And so I was angry, and I'm like, if those morons knew ivermectin was a probiotic, and it just and Vicky just stood calmly and looked at me and let me blow up. We call it a fur fit in my family. So, and then he said, "Well, I'm disappointed in you." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "I thought you really believed in God." And I said, "I do." And he laughed, and I laughed. And he said, then you know the day God formed the universe, he knew the day you were going to be born, the day you were going to die, and everything in it. And I'm like, well, okay, then. And so I said, okay, I'll go have a conversation with Robert Malone, and that changed everything. The courage to have a conversation, to speak the truth in love, and we see it now. That's the courage. The safe place is silence equals death.
Are you and Robert mended fence right now?
Um,
No.
I've never had a problem with Robert as long as he tells the truth.
Well,
So we'll
actually,
see.
last time I spoke to you about it, I was going to see him in San Diego, and we talked about it. And I said, I hope you guys work through that because I think it's a misunderstanding. But anyway, from my lips to God's ears, I'm not saying that was the reason, but I'm just happy to hear that because I think all of us need to find common ground in this adventure we call life. As long as we believe in God and that Jesus Christ is our Savior, I think that we're all just learning. And so, no matter where we are, we're just learning. I just took a huge learning lesson in the last 40 days and 40 nights, and I'm thankful for it. And I'm getting on my knees and thanking God for giving me another 60 years.
Well, thank you,
And I'm
John. And
grateful.
I think I'm next up with something with Dr. Wolf. So I don't know if this is the first time
Okay,
it's
you
kind of.
can finish, Cheryl. I'll be quiet. I love you, and the gratitude that John, that was what I want to say.
all
The
right.
courage.
Thank you so much,
I
both of you.
prayed you'd not do it, and you would win. And thank God. I prayed I'd see you again, and I'm delighted I did.
All right. Thank you guys both. So I'm just going to quickly go through these amazing things that are still happening here at the DACA Detox, right? So Healers of the Faith sale. Anybody that missed Dr. Judy, well, we have another opportunity. But the Healers of Faith sale up to 30% off on these nutraceuticals that John was just talking about, the things that we need, the foundation to help with the inflammation issue in your bodies. But we have Gold Care. That's right. That's going to be Sunday, July 13th. You guys don't want to miss it. If you didn't happen to put it onto your calendar to watch Dr. Judy, then you have another opportunity on Sunday, July 13th. I know I was glued to I couldn't, I listened all day long. I was amazed at what I learned and the stories that they shared. Because just like John, these are real people that had real issues that then came with that courage, education, the intelligence, and came together as a community because we are stronger together. That's what I love. Healers of the Faith, Gold Care. We have Dr. Daryl Wolfe, Dr. Dana Granberg Nill. We have Dr. Simone Gold and 18 other world leading healers, all volunteering their time, people, for Sunday, July 13th. Go to bhnuniversity.com. You need to register so that you
I'm
can
flying to Mexico. I'm flying to Mexico to be part of that. So
good for you. And so you want to go and register so that you can get the links, okay? This way you can actually have the links for the live Q&As where you get to ask your questions in real time. That's going to be on Monday, July 14th from 12 to 2 and Tuesday, July 15th from 7 to 10. I have to say Dr. Judy went way past that with answering all the questions for everybody. And so here you see all the amazing things that we're putting out there for everybody. Heal Yourself and Your Family, June 17th. The Gold Care, Rock with the Doc, Heal Yourself, Heal Your Family, Rock with the Doc again, Quantum Power Healing. I mean, it's amazing what we're bringing to you guys as a community to educate you so you can become your own self-practitioners from victim to healer. And they can try to ban us all they want. We're still growing at 20,000 new viewers every day because people were waking up, right? And they can't knock us off the Braveheart platform. That's just the way it goes. We own our platform. So we're going to continue to put the truth out. We'll continue to bring people into the fold who are educating us and bringing their products and all the amazing things that are available right now. But I tell everybody, this is a free app. Go to bhnapp.com. This app is going to keep you connected, not just with your perfect day, but all the news and events that are going on right now that we're offering or what's being offered. We have the world's largest online library of videos, guides, and audios for self-healing. That includes excerpts from all of these shows that we're doing where we come in and we bring the information to you so that you can go back and listen to it over and over again. Sometimes you have to hear something more than once, and sometimes it comes from somebody else's mouth. It doesn't matter. It matters that you get it when the light finally goes on. And of course, connect with other people doing this journey with you so that you are with people who understand, who talk the talk, who walk the walk, and they are in that same place, right? And do that emotional healing work. And this is what I was talking about, Dr. Sage Wolfe. So he is up in Calgary, Canada right now doing the Wolfe Non-Surgical. He's totally booked up. That's why it's not on here. And then he's off to St. Louis, Missouri. He'll be there from July 6th to July 15th. Guys, please give Tim a call at 479-215-9592. He's leaving there and coming to Occidental, California. So he'll be here July 20th to the 29th. We have some Wolfe Non-Surgical appointments available. John, if you want to come up with Dr. Judy, I'll just
where are
squeeze you
you?
guys in
Where are
together.
you located? What town?
In Occidental, California. That
Okay.
is in Northern California. I'm 2 miles from Bodega Bay, so I'm very close to the ocean.
How far from Santa Cruz?
Oh, that's a good 3 hours, I think.
Okay, well, my daughter lives in Santa Cruz. I know California pretty well. I just didn't know where Occidental was. Now I
So
know.
think San Francisco. I'm about an hour and a half from San Francisco Airport going north. So along the coast. So if you need any information, you can always call me at 707-322-1979. He goes to Los Angeles after me. He'll be there July 31st to August 7th. And you'll talk to Narin at 386-631-4066. And then his last stop is going to be Montreal, Quebec. Okay, so that's his last time in Canada. And Christine speaks fluent French. So everybody that's anywhere close to Quebec, she has the information for you to book an appointment the 23rd to September 1st, 438-929-0997. So if you missed any of this, just go to bhnuniversity.com, click on his beautiful face, and all the information is there for you. Also, all the course dates of all the courses that we are teaching. And so I tell everybody how important these courses are. When I talked about going to my first whole life coach and the lights went on, everybody educate yourselves. If you want to learn the Wolfe Non-Surgical like I did, how to break up scar tissue, calcification, how to help somebody heal even faster, having a power pack clinic, using the cell sonic regeneration, and of course, all you ladies out there, women's pelvic restoration. We have been kept in the dark so much about our reproductive system, and that is what we're trying to change. We are changing. We are bringing that information back to women so they can reconnect with their pelvic palace. It is a palace, women. It is where our strength and our power comes from. So yes, please look at the dates and sign up, because that's right, victim to Braveheart and patient to healer. And look at this. We are having a new DoD 5-star healing center. We have one in Ixtapas de Guatanejo. We are opening in 2026 a St. Cloud, Florida on Jim Gale's property. It's going to be phenomenal. We are on so many platforms still. As long as we're on there, we're going to be bringing the message. So it doesn't matter. Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, Shoot. And of course, you can listen to us on almost any kind of podcast, you guys. Just look and see what works for you. People have all kinds of different subscriptions to different things, but we're on there now. You just have to search for our name. And we have fulfillment centers in the United States and Canada and Australia. So when you're doing that shopping for the amazing nutraceuticals, you'll get them that much faster. But you should become an affiliate partner. This includes practitioners. When we refer people to Power Pack clinics or any of these things, why not earn a commission on your referrals, right? Go to docofdetoxpartners.com, docofdetoxpartners.com, and become one. If you are a practitioner, if you have a clinic, then you need to be offering these nutraceuticals that are so important for the healing and taking down the inflammation in your body. You can email office.docofdetox@gmail.com, or always our toll-free number, 855-900-4544. Even if all you did was click 0, you'd find somebody. And these are the Power Pack clinics. Woo, just like I have up here. Having a cell sonic regeneration and understanding the healing process, and having a cardio med bed for perfect circulation, now you're talking about health. Go to dodpowerpack.com, and right now in the United States, we do have financing available. That includes the courses. So you can become the best practitioner out there, because this is what we need. More practitioners who understand real health and know how to teach it to every individual on this planet. So DOD5star.com, this gorgeous healing retreat that's in Ixtapa. We tell people, if you really want to heal, if you're in crisis, take yourself out of the environment that you're in and go someplace where there's actual high energy, high frequency, and actual healing modalities that can change your life. And then change your stinking thinking. So because our thoughts and our words are so powerful, and we have to learn how to do that. Self-love, right? So if you can't make it to the courses, Dr. Sage Wolfe will come to you while he's still available. Remember, he's got a full schedule, but you can always call that 1-855-900-4544 extension 5. And then, of course, this is the price of our courses, which are unbelievably less than anything out there across the board. And not only are you getting information you're going to use for life. This isn't a one-time thing where you got to take course after course after course. These are complete in what they are teaching. So important. Again, financing in the United States. We're working on other countries, but right now that's what we do. And just like John Richardson was talking about, get a perfect day consultation from a master practitioner or from Dr. Darrell Wolfe himself, and find somebody who will be your coach for life, somebody who will meet you right where you're at and take you, hold your hand, right? And move you through that healing journey. That means you get somebody that you can text or call who's going to answer your call and be there for you, because we're so excited that you're taking massive personal action that we're just as passionate as you are for seeing you get healthy. So again, go to perfectdayconsultation.com. And I tell people, be a walking advertisement. We have sweatshirts and hoodies and t-shirts and hats so that you can be a walking advertisement for us. Again, all the platforms. And here is, just like that Foundation Bible, the ultimate healing guide for the perfect day is your health Bible. You want to have this at your fingertips. Right now, $95 at the docdetoxstore.com. I'm not sure if they're still doing the sale where you buy one, you get one free, but you can also have it free in the app under Evolve or go to pdgfree.com. We are giving this to you guys for free because that's how important it is. Healthy to 100 is going to be healthy to 120 now because you want to take back all your power and become your own health practitioner. Because you guys, the only permanent health care is self-care, and the only permanent love is self-love. Self-love. If we don't understand the gift we've been giving of unconditional self-love, if you are still in a place where you are beating yourself up, then you can't be that advocate to heal somebody else. We always have to first heal ourselves. And to rise to your first full potential, there it is. First, love yourself so you can fly. And then you can pay it forward. And here, just like with Dr. Judy Mikovits and John Richardson, we are stronger when we rise together. And Braveheart Nation, we are bringing so many different amazing people into this community who are giving their time and bringing what they have to the table to help us all heal. Just like I now have an EMF free clinic. That means when you come and as soon as you step foot on the property, you are now EMF free. And that is an amazing gift to give anybody that comes to my place, because EMFs cause a lot of damage to the individual body. And so we want to be healing back to the planet on all fronts, right? So go to the docadetoxstore.com, click on EMFs and start healing your space and your place as well. And of course, again, no matter what they do, we still have the bnhf.com. We will always be available and we'll stay as long as we can on every platform. And I just want to end this amazing show. Again, thank you so much for your time. But this is the Braveheart Nation Oath. This is how we begin that self-healing, loving journey, which I tell people. And it's like, I just take a deep breath, and please understand how grateful we are that you came. Without you, there's no reason for us to be on this platform, because we want to get that word out to you, our voices, and hear our truth and hear our passion and understand how much this means to us. And Dr. Judy's dancing in the background. I just love that. And so I'm going to just take a nice deep breath. And we say, I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will always trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart. And I am all in. Just like John Richardson and Dr. Judy, everybody's all in. Guess what? 3, 2, 1. You've got this.